Hello, BookTube. I forgot my question. That's how bad I am at being a slick booktuber. I teased you with a question at the end of the video. Wait till the end. Hit that like, smash that bell, whatever you're supposed to do. And then I forgot because I'm so bad at being a slick booktuber. But I do have a question for you, and it's actually better that it's separate on a video because that way you can concentrate on it. Those of you who aren't interested don't have to pay any attention. I've mentioned a couple of times that this pandemic shutdown has hit the publishing world. It has altered the landscape of the publishing world. As you know, if you watch this channel, I used to get 8 or 9 packages of books every day. I don't anymore. Mainly because the publishing houses in Manhattan are all shut down. They're all on lockdown. And the people in their various distribution centers are in lockdown in their own communities, and the distribution centers are closed. So those books aren't going out, but the publishing industry still has to live. And it lives in large part. There's a large part of it that lives through my own profession, book reviewing, book notices of one kind or another. And there's a technology that has existed right along for 10 years, as you all know. Ebooks have existed for a long time, and it's been right there at the elbow of the publishing industry. And yet the machinery of mailing out printed ARCs and then printed finished copies has just trundled along. And that machinery has had a rude shock. That machinery has come almost completely to a stop. And it's forced the publishing industry to turn to ebooks. It's forced the publishing industry to suddenly say, I still get the same number of emails from publicists every day, but they are now offering e-arcs. Oh, God. My little piranha. Oh, my little piranha's been going crazy all day. Haven't you? It's been going crazy all day. Maybe this will be the thumbnail. I can't predict. People think that because I make my thumbnails. I don't. I don't know how to make a thumbnail. Nope, she's gone back to tearing at me. Tearing at my hand. All right, fine. That's fine. I can still ask a question even though she's tearing at my appendages. Literally biting the hand that feeds her. But like I was saying, the publishers still send me the same number of solicitations. I still send them the same number of requests. It's just all of it now is ebooks. It's all e-arcs. And when the time comes, all of those e-advanced copies, those electronic review copies, will be electronic finished copies. I feel certain that we will not be back to normal in July. I could be wrong about that. I hope that I am. But I don't have any faith in normal anymore because it snowed in mid-May in Boston. So I don't believe that normal is ever going to come back. I've been complaining for quite some time that it's been winter here for the last 35 months straight. But I was even so kind of hoping that summer would come, that some kind of spring would come, some kind of warmth would come. I don't believe that's going to happen now, no matter what the forecasts say. And I also don't know for sure that anything's going to be back to normal this summer. And even once things go back to normal, are publishers going to want to resume that old and admittedly wasteful pattern of sending out piles of books? I don't know. I'll be happy if they do. I love getting books in the mail. But in the meantime, the emphasis has shifted enormously to electronic books, to ebooks. Enormously. And that has me asking a question. And I want to ask you, do I need an e-reader? A dedicated e-reader, one with electronic ink rather than a tablet, a backlit, my iPad. Do I need an actual e-reader? Now, I know I said a little while ago when I got like my second or third computer of the month in the mail, I said that I was gonna forswear getting any more of them, but surely an e-reader is not that. So I could get an e-reader tomorrow and still have complete control over myself, couldn't I? And so I have started preliminarily looking around, because if there is an enormous amount more e-reading in my future, then maybe I need an e-reader. Do I? I've been thinking about the Amazon Paperwhite, the 10th generation, the flat one that's waterproof and that has all sorts of high resolution and storage capacity and whatnot. The 10th generation Amazon Paperwhite looks really nice. Looks like a really nice device for a song in terms of money. And so my question is, where do you stand on the subject? Not if you don't have any use for ebooks at all. I was amazed to find that I have actually a few viewers who've never used an ebook. But if you do e-reading, what kind do you use? Do you read on your phone? Do you have a dedicated e-ink e-reader? And if so, do you use it? And do you like it? I know a lot of people who absolutely swear by it. Absolutely swear by not their tablet, not their iPad, reading on their iPad, but their e-ink black and white e-reader. I know a lot of people who swear by it. They say that it has multiplied their reading enormously because it's not distracting, because it's not a strain on the eye, because it goes forever on one battery charge, so you're not constantly thinking about plugging it in, that sort of thing. Is that true for you? Do you have an e-reader? And if so, what kind? And can you tell me stories about it? I want to hear all about it. So if this subject interests you, feel free to nag my ear off in the comments field or to send me an email. And, oh, I will add, I don't do any of this slick professional booktuber stuff, but I will add one slight call to action is what it's called, a call to action. If you have an Amazon e-reader, a Paperwhite of, I'm gathering that they radically changed their form factor with the 4th generation, that stopped having the inset, the bezels, that started being flat screened, and the resolution started becoming much better. PPI started becoming much better. If you have one of those that you don't use at all, feel free to sing out in the comments field or email me, and maybe we can work something out once it's safe to go back to the post office. But one way or another, tell me about your e-reader experience, because I am thinking that this is the rare instance in which a technological purchase of mine might actually be justified, as opposed to wildly unjustified. And I want to hear from you, of course, before I go any further. So that is my question. That was my question. You and e-readers, what is your e-reader experience? So it's mainly aimed at people who do read electronic books. I read a fair number of them, but I have a feeling that number is going to go way up in 2020. And if that's true, maybe an e-reader is something I should look into. So tell me all your stories. That was my question going to be at the end of the last video. This is the last video of the day, I promise. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you, BookTube.